Hey there, good morning. It's Donna Doyon with this week's A Mindful Approach to Weight Loss class. This workshop today, we're going to talk about the difference between gaining and losing, and not quite the traditional approach. If you've watched any of these programs in the past, you know I try to take a non-traditional approach to weight loss. This is the final class that I will be presenting live here in this Facebook group. So if you're interested in continuing, in fact, let me get the link right now. We're going to start doing this as a donation-based workshop on Zoom, and I'm going to drop that link in the comments box right now. We're going to start doing this in a Zoom room so that it can actually be interactive. It's been uncomfortable and challenging for me to talk just into my camera and not hear what's on your mind. And hopefully this is coming through a class. I'm getting this flashy thing on my screen. So we'll see. So we're going to do this so that you can actually come on, share your thoughts, challenge my ideas, and we can talk about how you can take a more mindful approach to your weight loss so that you're not just trying to follow the things that have worked and then not worked and then worked a little bit and not worked in your own journey, so that we can all reach that healthier weight. So, and also I don't see, I'm looking at my screen again, I don't know if anyone is here live. I had this problem last week and MJ Allen told me that there were people watching live. I couldn't see you. So if you're here and you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comments box and I will be happy to address those as we're having this weird kind of conversation. So today I want to talk about this idea of gaining and losing weight, because oftentimes we fall into this cycle of, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight again. The challenge with that is, if you think about it, when you lose something, you ultimately hope to find it again, right? And isn't that what happens so often when we're losing weight? Yep, found that 5 pounds I lost. And it becomes a cycle and it's a pattern. It's something we're familiar with and we laugh about it, but it's not really what we want. So in past workshops, I know that I've encouraged you, when you're going to reach for food, opening the cabinets, opening the refrigerator, sitting down perhaps at a specific time of day that you always eat, is ask yourself the question, am I hungry? This puts that pause, it inserts that pause into your routine. When we stop and we pause and ask the question, am I hungry? The answer is either yes or no, or I'm not sure. I feel like I should be hungry, or I probably shouldn't be hungry because I had a donut an hour ago. Yes or no, black or white. If you are hungry, if you are feeling that physical sensation of hunger, go ahead and eat. And if it's possible, make a healthier food choice. Look at your options and choose the healthier option. Doesn't have to be every single time, but at least once a day, and then you can build up to making more healthier choices. Allow yourself to make a healthier choice. And if you're not hungry and you're thinking, no, I'm not hungry, I feel like I should be because it's been a few hours since I ate, but no, I'm really not hungry. Ask yourself, what do you have to gain by eating in that moment? What do you have to gain by eating, by choosing food in that moment? I don't know what you'll come up with for answers. It's a good question though, isn't it? This is your moment. You've paused. You've asked the question, am I hungry? Your answer is no. What do you have to gain by eating? And you've already paused. This is your chance to say, why do I really want to lose weight? What do I have to gain? How will my life be better if I make this decision to not eat these 100 or 200 or more calories in this moment, what do I have to gain? And allow yourself to think about that. I've shared the story in the past about the little box of sun, nope, Sun-Maid raisins, the dark chocolate yogurt covered raisins, 110 or 120 calories per box. I think 110. I was eating one box of those every day. Wasn't hungry. It was part of my routine. Continuing to eat those, changing nothing else, would mean that I would gain about 10 pounds over the course of a year. By not eating that, changing nothing else, I would lose about 10 pounds over the course of a year. It was very easy to give up those raisins when I started thinking, if I give up this today, I could lose 10 pounds by the end of the year. So easy. Not real drama stirring, not this big sense of, oh my gosh, I'm dying because I can't eat this box of raisins. Just making that choice in the moment that I wanted to give up those raisins. And I'm going to reach, it just occurred to me, I don't know if my microphone is on. It is, so hopefully you can hear me. What do you have to gain? Usually when we're thinking about food and these less than desirable foods, well, they're very desirable emotionally. The sugar and the fat content makes it something that our body is craving. And in that sense, we look at food and we say, well, I'm going to gain weight if I eat it. And we still make the choice to eat it. Have you ever thought about that? Where is the logic and the heart thinking in that? So if you can ask yourself, what do I have to gain if I choose myself instead of this candy bar, this donut, these potato chips, whatever your favorite mindless eating snack food is? What do you have to gain? Here are some things, okay? Besides the obvious, not eating the calories, you gain the exposure and the opportunity to say, I managed to resist that temptation. I managed to choose myself. And that felt good. Was I denying myself the snack? Yes. Was I giving myself, gaining that sense of control? Because how many times do we say, oh, I have no control over what I'm eating? I hear it a lot about people that drink coffee. You can take away anything else, don't touch my coffee. And some people feel that way about certain foods that they're eating. It's just not something they're willing to give up. Excuse me. And that's okay. You should not ever feel forced to give up something, especially if it's something that gives you pleasure. Our brain wants pleasure. It helps you to avoid pain. Our brain wants to avoid pain and discomfort. And our brain wants to be efficient. So if we can build these routines, then we feel like, oh, this is like perfect. However, if you start thinking, I really want to gain a feeling of health and centeredness and well-being. I want to think about myself and look at myself in the mirror and know that I'm doing right by myself, by my body. I want to gain a sense of autonomy and sense of self. That's what I want. And you can gain that by saying, I choose myself over you. I choose me. I choose not to deny me rather than the food. So much of our time and energy is spent focused on the food. And if we can change that to ourselves and what we hope to gain, that's when miracles can happen in our weight loss journey. Uh-oh, my kitty's coming down the stairs. I think she's going to start meowing. There are wonderful things that we can do. It's just a matter of changing our approach. I recently was reading or listening to a podcast episode or a course or something, and the information that I got, or that's part of it, we don't need more information. You know what is going on in your life. You know your relationship with food. You know the stressors in your life. You know the information about how to deal with those things. But do we actually do them? Most of the time, we're not so great at that. When we can gain insight into ourselves and ask ourselves, why am I not doing what I know would be best for me? Oh, I think my senior kitty, I think maybe she just peed on the floor over there. Yeah, one of the stressors in my life, dealing with an elderly kitty. So where was I? So we have our choices. Okay, so we need this insight into ourselves for why we're making the choices we're making. When we choose the less than healthy foods, when we binge snack on something, when we start hiding food so that family members or our children, spouses, coworkers, so that people don't see that we're eating. And this, so I'm thinking of a woman that I used to work with, and she was a very large woman. I would not say that she was unhealthy as far as her activity level. Like me, when I started hiking at 180 something pounds, she was physically active. So I wouldn't say that she was unhealthy. I don't know all of her blood work and if she was on any medications and stuff, of course. But she would always tell me how healthy she ate. She was always talking about how her healthy foods. But yet in the workplace, I would see her munching on bags of potato chips and crackers and cookies. They were all labeled non-fat, low sugar, no sugar, and they all had these health claims on them, but she would eat 3 or 4 or 5 servings of them over the course of the day. Now, it wasn't my place to pass judgment on her. We are all on our own journeys, and I have my junk too. But perhaps that's something that you're dealing with, and perhaps a little bit of insight into your food choices, even though you may fall under the umbrella of always eating healthy. Look at the little things that you're eating. Are they adding up? Chances are they are adding up. 50 calories here, 100 calories here. It adds up quickly. That little box of raisins that I loved eating every day. Hey, MJ. That little box of raisins that I loved eating was adding up. It was enough for a 10-pound gain over the course of a year. When you focus on what you want to gain in your life, how you feel emotionally about yourself, about what you can do, about your possibilities and your opportunities, that your weight is holding you back. That's what you have to gain by making a healthier food choice. So this week, my message for you is think about what you have to lose and what you can gain by making those healthier food choices. My keyboard or your keyboard, is it flashing? Is that what you're seeing? MJ Allen, the owner of Presence of Mind, has just chimed in and said keyboard issues this morning, and I think she may be seeing the flashing that I'm seeing. So it's always your choice. It has always been your choice for the food choices you make, for your weight, for what you have going on in your life, how you're dealing with daily stresses. And if you're allowing food to offer that comfort and be your way to buffer what's going on in life, whether it's something that's hard and you're using it to provide comfort, whether it's something exciting and grand and something to celebrate and you're using food to celebrate, this is the way our society uses food. And it's always a choice. It's always your choice. You don't have to buy into that if you don't want to. And if you do buy into it and you say, yes, my birthday is coming up on Friday and I plan to have cake, there's nothing wrong with that. And no one should ever make you feel badly, or you should never. You should. I'm going to say that. I don't really like the word should, but you should never blame yourself and shame yourself for celebrating something that's important to you with food. However, are we really truly celebrating in that manner every single day? If you are, that's probably where some of your weight challenges come from. And that may be an opportunity for you to pause and sit back and say, is there a better way, a different way to celebrate this without the food? And if there is, try it and see how it feels. Life is a journey, it's an experiment. You try something and you see if it works for you, and it may or it may not. That's okay. Just keep trying. Because if your heart is telling you that losing weight will make your life feel more fulfilling, honor that call. Honor that whisper that it's saying to you when you reach for your favorite comfort food. And hear the voice that says, are you even hungry? What do you have to gain by eating this food in this moment? And if you can't come up with a good answer to that, allow yourself to walk away and say, well, I've always eaten it before. May not be the best answer. If you can walk away today, celebrate it, not with food, but celebrate that accomplishment, gain that sense of control and say, yes, I did this today. And then perhaps tomorrow or the next day, you'll be able to walk away again. And you start to build your confidence and say, you know, my life really didn't change that drastically because I didn't eat that particular snack. And when you start to see that and you break the connection between food and your sense of satisfaction within your day, that's when you can make that disconnect and you can say, maybe I don't need that after all. It's really amazing the freedom that you can feel when you start to feel like you have more control over your food choices, because you do. That those raisins from that box were not opening the box itself. They weren't jumping up in the box and pushing the seal open. They weren't jumping into my mouth and forcing their way down my throat. Nope, I was eagerly going over there and popping that top and pouring it into my mouth directly, pouring it into my hand, popping them into my mouth. Each raisin I ate was my choice. It may have not been a conscious, mindful choice, but it was my choice. When I stop and think and ask myself, what do I have to gain by eating this food? Well, certainly I'm not going to lose the weight that I want to lose. I'm probably going to lose a little bit of self-esteem along the way. What do you want to gain? A sense of freedom, a sense of movement, a sense of less pain because you're starting to lower your body weight and all the stress that points on your joints and your bones and your muscles. Allow yourself to embrace the concept that small changes can have a big impact. It takes time. It's accumulating the benefit instead of an in the moment reward. We can't snap our fingers and be down 20 pounds, but we can take the steps that it takes to be down 20 pounds. It's all in the way you're thinking about it. So this week I invite you, okay, so I have a comment here and I'm going to read this for people that are watching on YouTube or watching this later. MJ says, the rituals of meal times was one of the hardest things I moved away from, and getting back to that now. It's okay to not be hungry at 6 p.m. Exactly. We need to stop. Ask the question, am I hungry? And then we have choices to make, but just that awareness. People say, well, it messes up the family time at the table, because if you're not hungry and then you're hungry, a half an hour later. I remember growing up, if you weren't ready to eat at dinner time when the family ate, you wouldn't be fed later. Eat now or never eat. And that's something that's been ingrained into many of us. We can still enjoy the family time at the table and the conversation's not exactly what teenagers want to do, sit at the table and hear their parents go blah, 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 blah. But the purpose of having family meals most of the time, as much for the convenience of the food being ready at the same time, was to build that stronger connection. We can have the connection without consuming the food. And as for being hungry later, well, in today's modern world, we have refrigeration and we have microwaves, and the food can be reheated at another time if you're not ready to eat at mealtime. You can still sit at the table. These are some of the traditions and the habits that have been ingrained into all of us where we feel like that's the way we have to relate to food. And it's not something that we need to do. So be mindful, think about whether or not you're actually hungry. It's a cool thing, especially for those of us that are older. We're not dealing with young children most of the time unless you have a grandchild around. But a lot of times when people, I have a good friend, when she's making food for her grandchild, she's still making something different for herself. So why do you have to eat at the same time? So just lots of questions, so many ways to approach this. And this is why I love calling this just a non-traditional approach to weight loss, because you have so much information. I encourage you, I invite you, and I challenge you to look for your own insight. What feels right to you? What makes sense to you in your life? And understand and appreciate that what works for you today may need to be modified for tomorrow. And that's okay. It's not a one size fits all process. And what fits you today may not fit you tomorrow. It's okay. Just find your way. Just keep setting your sights on what you want to gain. Why are you losing weight? What do you hope to feel and experience when you've reached that healthier weight? Start feeling that and experiencing that along your journey. Because then when you get there, you'll just say, oh, this is so cool. There's no problem staying here because I've built the change in the way that I'm thinking and feeling about food as I've reached this place. I'm not thinking about the sacrifices and the resentment and the sacrifices and that just giving up all of the things that I've loved. You found a way to allow those things a place in your life without it taking over your whole life. Take a breath, Donna. I don't take enough breath when I'm doing these things. So I'm going to finish up here, but as I said, starting next week, these workshops will not be posted live in this group. There will be a Zoom room that we're going to have so we can actually talk about what's going on. So I can share kind of my lesson for the day, my viewpoint for the day, and then we can have a conversation and you can really see how this will fit into your life. And these classes are going to be donation based. We understand that times for many people are financially tough right now. So even if you can't pay anything, you can still sign up. I think there's a $0 option so that you can sign up. We really want to start having some discussions on this because all I'm doing is giving you more information. When we have a one-on-one conversation, when you start saying, but I can't because, that's my opportunity to question that belief, what I would call a limiting belief, and you can start gaining new insight into yourself. And that's the purpose of moving these classes into the Zoom room so that they can be more interactive. So if you have some weight you would like to lose, or if you have a less than healthy relationship with food and you want to participate, I encourage you to click the link that I put in the comments for you and sign up for next Tuesday's class. And if 10:30 on Tuesday mornings does not work for you, drop some times in the comments below because the schedule is flexible. And if we find people would prefer an evening class or a different morning, I have that flexibility. But unless people share what they want or what they need, I can't meet that need. Okay. So to sign off for this week, when you're approaching your food, ask yourself, what do you have to gain by eating that food? What do you have to gain? We so focus so much on losing weight, losing weight, losing weight. Let's flip the tables. What can you gain by not eating that food? All right. So have an amazing, oops, another comment here. Just want to scroll down. The power of being among your community is abundant. MJ wrote that in the comments. Yes, it's all part of so much of our food traditions are around community. The food doesn't make the community, it's the people. All right, so be your best people and enjoy a healthier and a happier life. All right, so hopefully I'll see you next week in the live workshop. All right, have a great day. Oh, wait, I wanted to pull a card for you from my Magical Times deck by Jody Bergsma. Let me just pull this out. So, all right, let me just give it a couple of quick things. I love my Oracle cards, and I had neglected this one for a little while. So your message for this week, let's see, is union. You have seen and unseen allies. Draw upon their strength. Join forces with friends and flourish. Oh, I like that. I don't know that I've ever pulled this card before. Union. You have seen and unseen allies. Draw upon their strength. Join forces with friends and flourish. And I'm going to take this today to mean that if you have weight loss goals and perhaps you're feeling frustrated and lonely and discouraged and you're tired of following the traditional path, join me next Tuesday. Let's become a team. Let's become a union. Let's become allies in our goal to achieve and attain a healthier weight. So much of our lives can change and so many things will just stay the same. It's a journey to explore, a journey to welcome. Your body is going to be so grateful to you if you start treating it with the kindness and the love that you probably are treating others. Okay? So have a great week. Thank you for being here today. Leave any comments or questions in the comments and I will come back and answer them later. Bye.